You might be wondering what this terrorism exactly is. Let's ask someone nearby and get their opinion on what it is. Now, kind sir, I am going to have to arrest you for jaywalking across this busy street, but first may I ask of your opinion on what terrorism exactly is? In my opinion, terrorism is a poor man's assault tank. It's what poor people use to attack the rich and regain political power. It is highly effective because just a small number of people with the right weapons can cause mass hysteria and social disruption, forcing those in power to pay attention to their concerns. Also, you will never catch me alive. Copper. Oh, I love it when they resist. After taking the beautiful criminal downtown, I think it is time we got back to our discussion and talk about the events of 9/11. The U.S. was struck by a major terrorist attack on September 11, 2001. Two of the tallest buildings in the country were destroyed. A national symbol of wealth and prosperity was forever lost. What was the American reaction to this? Did good terrorists succeed? May I inquire about your opinion on the effectiveness of terrorism in the 9/11 disaster?
Well, given the fundamentally negative ways in which the U.S. government has changed, the economic damage it has caused, and the constant erosion of civil liberties under the guise to protect us from a threat that was created by our own foreign policies, yeah, I'd say the terrorists were very successful.
Surely the war we got ourselves into because of this tragedy has some purpose.
No, by succumbing to the fear and initiating a war with terrorist groups, the U.S. has actually helped the terrorists. The late leader of the terrorists, Osama bin Laden, once made it clear he wanted to manipulate the U.S. into a war to bankrupt them. We did initiate a war, and because of the massive wartime spending and a recession, the U.S. is nearly $13 trillion in debt.
Gosh, you were negative. Ever thought about how much that military budget helps the defense economy?
The military-industrial complex is not a good ideology to be stuck in.
Are you saying that our government is not all-powerful and all-knowing? That is treason. I am going to have to arrest you now. It's so easy arresting people now since I no longer need probable cause. Thank you, Congress, for the Patriot Act. Yay. So was the U.S. and the rest of the world made safer by post-9/11 changes and regulations? Why, of course it was. Let's find a random passerby to ask them their opinion. Hello, ma'am. Do you mind me asking your opinion of the U.S. response to the 9/11 terrorist attack? Has it made the world a safer place?
I don't mind at all. See, I think that since 9/11, the world is much more dangerous. As the Hornets down USA stomps around, it murders innocent civilians in the name of national security, and as a result of the police state that is being encouraged by U.S. anti-terrorist policy, the way the world fights terrorism is beginning to ruin the economy and morale of the entire planet.
What are you talking about, stinging the U.S. with hornets? Are you a terrorist plotting to release a gigantic beehive onto the White House? Ma'am, I am going to have to take you in for further questioning.
You are a moron.
Could a moron put together the subconscious context clues in your speech? I think not. Well, let's say, hypothetically, the U.S. way of handling terrorism is wrong, even though the U.S. is never wrong. What are some alternative solutions? The first is by peace and negotiations. A concerned citizen I met earlier pointed out that you can prevent terrorism by addressing the grievances of the terrorists, which worked pretty well in the creation of Israel and the peace process in Northern Ireland. However, I don't think the USA has ever tried this method. Although this way of avoiding terrorism seems nice and peaceful, it will never be as great as a retribution crusade that pillaged through the Middle East, killing hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians. Why, hello darling, do you know of any other solutions to how a government should handle terrorism?
The issue of how to deal with it, though, is more of a social affair and not a governmental one. Just like we succeeded over communism by outpacing their economy and showing how our philosophy was fundamentally better, the only way to fight terrorism is to ignore it and not succumb to the fear it causes. All we need to do is progress our society and prosper. Not only is this a better way to fight terrorism, it is also completely free of a price tag. Once you stop giving attention to the terrorists, they will not have any purpose to terrorize. They are just like schoolyard bullies. In fact, 400 times more people died in car crashes in 2001 than all deaths of the terrorist attacks combined. You could save a lot more lives in the West by using government money to address road safety issues rather than terrorism.
Let me do some fact-checking real quick. It says here that the U.S. yearly defense budget is nearly $700 billion. In contrast, the yearly budget for the Department of Transportation is $79 billion. I suppose more money could go to highway safety instead of funding the military, but how would you know the budget information of the U.S.? That is classified information, and I'm afraid I am going to have to arrest you for infiltrating the government's records.
You ignoramus, that is public information.
If it's public, why is it on my special police version of Wikipedia?
That is not a special police version of Wikipedia. You are just looking at the website on your iPhone that has the word police poorly spray painted on the back, you idiot.
My mother said I did a great job of painting. And my mother is the art teacher at the elementary school, so I think she knows what she is talking about.
Oh God, I think I just had a brain aneurysm. I am dying. Are you happy? Your stupidity has killed me. Now my poor cat is going to be homeless. I am no longer alive. I am dead.